The sixth round of the Midwest F2 season looks to be a hot one as the tour heads to the Marina Bay Street Circuit here in Singapore. 23 corners make up this 5-kilometer circuit, with 14 of them to the left and 9 to the right. 2 DRS zones here make up for the best opportunities for overtaking, with the average top speed just over 107 miles an hour. This is a very slow track, but a very exciting one nonetheless. And we have ourselves here today a very nice night sky here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit, which apparently is being turned into a Call of Duty map in this next game. Interesting. 20 seconds to go until we begin this session. We're going to go ahead and assume that everybody's going to be choosing either presets 1 or 2 for this event. Got a couple new drivers joining us on the grid tonight. CPI Optic being one of them, Lane C being another. Bobbert Yates on the grid as well, I believe. It looks like a rain race according to CPI Optic as we are along here with one of them at least. Erect on track now. Should be a very interesting one, this, from 6th gear down about to 3rd. Going through these first couple of corners here. Everybody on the super soft tire, of course, into 2nd for turn number 3. Coming out of turn 4, beware of the oversteer then. And then through turn 5, we're going to go from about 5th or 6th down to 3rd. And make sure to get a nice exit then into DRS you go. Hold it nice and steady through this section of the track. Through now turn number 6 into turn 7 from 6th gear down to either 2nd or 3rd, depending on what you want, depending on the control that you have. Beware track limits on exits. Turn 7 now, or this is turn 8 rather. Down into 2nd, very slow speed corner that. Back up through the gears into turn 9. Back down to 3rd. Beware of the wall on exit of the corner. Down this little straight here towards turn 10, you want to hit that orange wall right there. Try to cut off as much of that curve as you can. Erex chosen not to done that. Through now turns 11 and 12. Coming over the bridge here, definitely got to be careful of that curve. That'll send you for a spin if you're not careful. Down into turn 13 now from about 4th gear down to 2nd. Get good exit into DRS. Once more you go. This straight, not very long, not really long enough to make any overtakes. Into turn 14 now, down to about 2nd. Beware of that white line on exit. Right there, you go over that. That is track limits. Now down into turns 15 and 16. Pretty straightforward here. Be careful of the curb on the inside. That curb will launch you in this year's game. That part's for sure. Underneath the stadium seats now. This being through turns 18 and 19. About feather the throttle just then. A lot of drivers, unfortunately, not making it through the lap. Now coming over turns 21 and 20 and 21. Oh! Erex gone for a spin just then. That's not very good. We'll pick it back up with Beagle Hunter now through turns 20. Oh, and he's, I'm afraid, going to invalidate that lap. El Majaco on pole position. And boy, that is by less than, that is 4 1,000ths of a second between El Majaco and Cake Thomas. El Majaco, if you remember last time out, had that unfortunate go through the reverse points grid race at France. Did DNF after making contact with Ray 46. He is on pole, but by very close margins at that. Should be a very interesting one, this. El Majaco on pole, Cake Thomas 2nd, A-Dub in 3rd. Dirty Boy Jackson, last week's winner. Wait, that's a lie. Last week's winner, A-Dub in 3rd. Dirty Boy Jackson, championship leader in 4th. CPI Optic 5th. Josh Senior 6th. Mandigo 7th. 8th is Valentine. 9th is Joko. 10th, Beagle Hunter. 11th, Spaceman. 12th, Mayhem Tomorrow on his debut. 13th, Vicky 64. 14th, Erect. And then I believe from Erect down onwards, towards the back of the grid, all did not get a chance to put in a timed lap attempt. So should be a very fun race off the line. Let's see what we got. And so the wet conditions here for F2, 20 seconds to go until lights out. It is a rainy night here in the streets of Singapore. Formation lap obviously off, and apparently there's been a glitch with the custom setups. They are on, but they shouldn't be. Now remember, in the F2, if it's raining, you do not need to make that stop, so expect drivers to try to take that wet tire all the way to the end. And now here we go, the lights beginning to turn on here in a moment's time. Here we go. Lights are turning on here in the streets of Singapore. Majaco on the right, Cake Thomas on the left, and they are off. And now who's going to get the better start? I'm not quite sure. It's in the wet, obviously. Very hard to tell. Who's going to get the better of it into turn 1? It looks like El Majaco's gotten away really well. Cake Thomas is not. Dirty Boy Jackson down the inside. Oh, that's the MP of CPI Optic. That's gone off towards the back. Majaco getting away cleanly, but towards the back, it's quite carnage back there. Shariah Coleslaw's had it off. A couple drivers going around back there. Dirty Boy Jackson down to the inside of Cake Thomas. CPI Optic has had a little bit of trouble then. I believe he's perhaps missing a bit to his front wing on the inside. Yes, Yes, he is. Down to the inside now, looks Los Mandigos. Nicky 64, 5-second penalty, severe collision with Spaceman. Just a yellow flag. No safety car at the moment, though. It looks like for now, El Majaco has gotten away to a brilliant start so far. It's not unbelievably raining, but it is raining here in Singapore, and it should make for a very entertaining one. Cake Thomas looking to bounce back, trying to get around Dirty Boy Jackson. That top spot up for grabs within a second now. Josh Senior and CPI Optic side by side here, coming out of turn number 8. This one's still side by side now. Josh Senior around the right side. Does he still have it? Optic's going to go low and take that position. And it looks like Spaceman has gone off towards the back. That's on exit of turn number 7. Not exactly the best go about the circuit for him so far. Los Mandigos looking down to the inside on Josh Senior. Contact being made. Contact to the back then. That was, I believe, it could have been Valentine. I'm not quite sure. One of the drivers went right into the back then. Joko now on board with him. Beagle Hunter in close pursuit behind as well as they go over the bridge. Beagle Hunter down to the inside. Has he just done in 2 cars there? It certainly looked like it. But it's going to go around the outside then of Valentine. Spaceman has DNF'd, and that is going out of turn number 8. Trying to go through the middle then is Los Mandigos, but that move is shut off towards the back. It looks like somebody had a bit of a slide. Not quite sure who, but it's Mandigos down to the inside now. Beagle Hunter, contact being made once more. Beagle Hunter way out to the outside then. Mayhem Tomorrow looking for it on his debut, and he gets past Beagle Hunter then. No safety cars so far. Very entertaining first lap this, and Dirty Boy Jackson only has 7 tenths to the leader of El Majaco. A little bit further back, CPI Optic now within a few tenths on Josh Senior as he tries to look around the left side, and then he's going to try to switch back to the right side. Doesn't quite have anything there, although props for trying to make the move happen in a very tricky part of the track. Meanwhile, Cake Thomas has opened up a 3.5-second lead back to that of A-Dub in 4th. The podium positions are safe for now. El Majaco fastest lap at 2:14.931. It's looking good. CPI Optic, bit of oversteer then, but he's going to look to the right side on Josh Senior. Doesn't quite have it. He's going to switch back down to the inside towards turn 1. Whoa! Someone way off towards the back there. It may have been Bobbert Yates, and it has been. Although, I think he's kept the car somewhat decently under control. Only the back tire seemed to have hit the wall then. That was a very close call then for that in the HWA, but he's kept it together. So much action in these early stages already. Dirty Boy Jackson now within 5 tenths on El Majaco. Mayhem Tomorrow and Los Mandigos side by side then. Mandigos on the inside. Mayhem on the outside. Who's going to get the position here? It's side by side heading down this. Beagle Hunter might want in on this battle as well. It looks like then Mayhem's just forced Mandigos down to the inside of the track. Oh, look at this. Down to the inside looks Beagle Hunter. Mayhem's gone quite wide then. He's going to keep the position, but only just. Meanwhile, at the top, Dirty Boy Jackson now within 4 tenths of a second of El Majaco as they go towards turn 10. Reminder, El Majaco loves this Singapore track, and he loves being in the lead of F2 as well, which he has done and is doing so far. There he goes now over the bridge looking down towards turn 13. Does Dirty Boy Jackson have anything for him here? Into the corner. Jacko's going to take that apex quite wide. Dirty Boy Jackson quite the opposite. I would expect El Majaco to have the better go through the corner then. Mayhem Tomorrow, and I believe somebody just had a little bit off there. Mayhem is suddenly fallen back of that of Mandigos. Towards the back there, it looks like Lancey trying to get around the back of a Beagle Hunter. Up towards the top, CPI Optic and A-Dub battling it out. Now this is going into turn 14. A-Dub to the inside, battling it out then with the MP on the outside, and he's going to hold that position. Reminder, CPI Optic filling in from now on for Jonathan Dunk, who Jonathan Dunk was off to a great start of this championship season, has had to withdraw from the championship. So CPI Optic taking his place in the MP, and so far doing a good job of it. Looks like Bobbert Yates and Lancey side by side then. It looks like perhaps as Beagle Hunter dropped off, now Joko's in a bit of trouble as well. Golly. A-Dub now within 7 tenths on CPI Optic, that being for 4th spot. Meanwhile, CPI Optic, remember, I believe had that 4th place finish last time out at France. It was either 4th or 3rd, something like that. Was dangerously close to that podium finish if he didn't get it. Definitely be looking for him to make himself a name here tonight. Dirty Boy Jackson still 8 tenths of a second behind El Majaco. Oh, and Optic has picked up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Lancey and Bobbert Yates side by side, then going into turn 1. Bobbert Yates on the outside, having to go heavy over the curb. Lancey still down to the inside. Beagle Hunter's got a great view of it. Oh, CPI Optic's gone off of ahead. And no, and he's dropping positions now. And, well, has he done in any more of his front wing? It doesn't quite look like he has. It's only the end plate missing, which he's had for quite some time now. But that was dangerously close there to a DNF, especially on the wet streets. And now Lancey looking for the move around Bobbert Yates. Doesn't have it yet. Joko and Beagle Hunter side by side then. Perhaps contact being made as they head now down into turn number 7. Wheel to wheel then between these two. Still looking for it now. Still side by side going into turn 8. Still side by side then. Beagle Hunter finally gets the advantage over the Cheroos of Joko. Joko still trying to do his best to look for it around the Prima driver then. Speaking of Prima drivers, Dirty Boy Jackson trying to reel in the pole sitter and current leader of the race, Elma Jacko, 0.5 of a second. As we're along with Mayhem tomorrow, we're going to look a little bit further back. Shariah Coleslaw, who had a qualifying ban this week, currently P13. He's up 4 spots since the beginning. Oh, someone has gone around into this CPI Optic once again, who's taken a bit of a spill, and has taken his front wing with him, and I believe we will be having a virtual safety car on track. That is certainly what it looks to be. Virtual safety car on track for the F2 drivers. Remember, VSC laps do not count towards the 50 percentile rule, that being for total green flag laps. Only had one race that got even close to that, and that was Canada last season. So far, we have not needed to worry about that rule, and thankfully so. Josh Sr. within 0.6 on A-Dub here once they get back to green. This will be an interesting one. Josh Sr. and Valentine alike looking to bounce back after last week's showing at France, which did not go their way. Currently looking at a great couple podium finishers here. Still under the virtual safety car now. As you take a look at the Drivers' Championship, Dirty Boy Jackson in first, coming into it, Jacko second, Cake Thomas down at 5th. However, he will be most likely overtaking both Jonathan Dunk and Ryan Rods in the standings. Jonathan Dunk certainly because he's not racing anymore, and Ryan Rods because he's not in the Grand Prix for tonight. Dirty Boy Jackson within 0.4 then on Jacko, this being the battle for the lead. Now Jacko in another league, the Coleslaw Cup, ran by that of Shariah Coleslaw, who, by the way, might be in a battle here with Joko and Beagle Hunter quite soon. Elma Jacko took away a win scot-free from Scornsey after a very late race safety car that left him with 2 laps of racing to go, but Jacko was able to take the win, and so now Jacko's got a lot of heavy lifting to do as he's got the championship leader in behind. These two obviously fighting for the lead of the championship here, but Jacko out in front, but only just and only for now. It's going to be an interesting one, this. Josh Sr. within 0.3 then on A-Dub ahead of him. A-Dub, last week's winner at France, currently P4. Mayhem tomorrow looking for it on Mandigos here. Mandigos looking for it on Valentine. Scrolling back up through the grid again. 0.5 of a second the gap between Elma Jacko and Dirty Boy Jackson for the lead of the Grand Prix. Cake Thomas has, unfortunately for his sake, fallen off this battle a little bit. Now 3.5 seconds back to that of this top 2 battle. Looks like Beagle Hunter and Joko battling it out once more there, back there for the 11th position. Oh, we've got a yellow flag back there. Oh, and that's, I believe that's Mayhem Tomorrow's gone off. Yes, he has. Hopefully he doesn't take too much of the wall with him. Doesn't look like he has. No, he's actually missing no front wing at all. Nicely done then, to be able to keep the car, I'd say, in one piece. I suppose Joko, 3 seconds of time penalty for multiple warnings. Coming to the 5th lap of the Grand Prix to be completed now. A little bit further back, Joko and Beagle Hunter battling it out here for the 10th position now. After Mayhem had his off, has bumped Beagle Hunter up to the top 10 position. 11 points for him will go his way if the result holds. Meanwhile, still at the top, a half a second between Dirty Boy Jackson and Majacko. It's very close, but for now, no move seems to be able to be made. Lancey and Bobbert Yates looking for it here. Bobbert Yates, I believe that will put him up to 3 seconds of penalty. Both of these drivers up 10 positions since the initial start of the Grand Prix. Oh, big slide then for Lancey. Does he keep it? Wow, what a save it was for him. That was an unbelievable piece of driving then. Oh, and someone else has gone back off. I believe CPI Optic once again has spun the car around, and that's a front wing gone for him, unfortunately. 0.3 of a second or less. Dirty Boy Jackson looking for it on Jacko here. The 2 championship leaders battling it out here, looking for the advantage on one or the other. Dirty Boy Jackson has had to have Jacko under pressure this whole time. I believe Jacko just hit the wall there, coming over the bridge. I'm not quite sure. I saw sparks fly. Maybe it's just a glitch. I'm not quite sure. However, Dirty Boy Jackson, as Valentine picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. That's not going to help him. Thankfully, though, at the moment, he'll only drop the 1 position. Dirty Boy Jackson, he's going to try to look down to the inside on El Majacco. Mind you, these two were teammates last season, won the Constructors' Championship together, and now battling it out for a Drivers' Championship. That spices this up even more. El Majacco, being the pinnacle scorer of that Virtuosi team last season, said, I want to change of scenery, I want a new teammate as well. And now he's under battle here with his teammate last season, who right now has bested him in the Drivers' Championship points. Very interesting battles here. Here's Mandigos on Valentine now. Can he find any sort of a move to be made as they head towards turns 18 and 19 now? Mandigos wants that down to the inside. That's a bold move to make an overtake. Does he make it stick? He's still looking for it. Round the outside he goes, and does he make it happen? He does, but only just. Contact to the inside of the car. What a move then from Mandigos. What an overtake on Valentine then. But Valentine's not done yet. Still within that 0.3 of a second. He could probably strike back if he wanted to. Let's see if he does. Coming out of turn number 23 then. And it looks like Mandigos has gotten a better getaway then, and that position might just be his. Meanwhile, Josh Sr. battling it out here with A-Dub. Dirty Boy Jackson, a second back to Majacco now. Majacco has set the fastest lap of the race once again. He currently is sitting on a Grand Slam. Down to the inside. Josh Sr., he was looking for it then. Oh, yellow flag. I believe it's Nicky64 who's had that off. Unfortunate for him. Both the Virtuosi drivers within close battles here. Here comes Josh Sr. looking down to the inside. Oh, he's hit the wall then. Has he lost any front wing? No, but he's given that wall a hefty smack, the Virtuosi driver has. And somehow he's gotten away with it, and he's still right there in hot pursuit of A-Dub for that 4th spot. Meanwhile, at the top of the grid, once more, 0.4 of a second between Dirty Boy Jackson and Majacco. And I tell you what, Majacco seems to be getting better traction at the moment. That gap now over 0.8. Through turn 13 they go. Who gets the better launch here? And it looks like the answer is El Majacco, who is now pulling away from the ART driver. Valentine, Mandigos has not had a good go then of turn number 10, and Valentine might be able to strike here. Remember, these curbs here at Singapore are very high off the ground. You hit one incorrectly, it might send you for a spin. These drivers got to be much more careful, especially in these wet conditions. Through turn 13 they go. And it looks like Mandigos might get the better getaway then. Josh Sr., can he look down to the inside on A-Dub? It's not going to have it just yet. Although A-Dub's gone quite wide then. Does Josh Sr. get better traction? Yes, he does. And now the battle is on. Josh Sr.'s going to look to the left side. A-Dub holding that inside line. And he's not going to give it up to the Virtuosi driver. Very good battle this for the 4th spot. Can he find it? He's still looking for it then, is the Virtuosi driver. Does he find it in the turns 18 and 19? No, he doesn't. Dirty Boy Jackson, fastest lap, a 2:10.793. I believe that has actually, that's actually quite done in Jacko's lap as well. That is just over, I think, 0.4 of a second. I'm sure Jacko would like that Grand Slam today, but I think he would take the win more than just any old points. He'll take the win plus pole. If he was to walk away with a maximum point haul of 32 points, that would be absolutely stellar from the Prima driver. Prima driver. I don't know, that's a mouthful, that one. 0.5 of a second now, the gap, still nothing there. Can Lancey get back to Bobbert Yates here? Bobbert Yates having a look on Valentine, perhaps. Valentine looks a smidge off the pace then, as Bobbert Yates has gotten a good traction there. Can he find that move on the Virtuosi in front of him? Doesn't quite look like he's got it at this moment in time, although he is certainly looking for it. Can he find it? He's still right there, still looking for it. The answer is no for now. Josh Sr. still battling with A-Dub then. Dirty Boy Jackson, 0.6 of a second back to Jacko. Now Jacko has been getting much, much better acceleration out of these low-speed corners, and I believe that is what still has that gap together. Here he goes again, that gap now climbing. And I think, honestly, Dirty Boy Jackson might have a straight line speed advantage here. However, Jacko is just much quicker, I'd say, overall around this circuit. Bobbert Yates within 0.3 then on Valentine ahead of him. Mind you, Lancey is in on this battle for the 7th spot as well. Mind you, both the drivers ahead of him sitting on time penalties, but that's not necessarily going to matter. Meanwhile, Cake Thomas is suddenly in on this battle. He's only a second back. Next time by will be the halfway mark of the Grand Prix, and by golly, it's been a good one so far. It looks like Josh Sr. getting around A-Dub, then that going into turn 16 then. That looked to be a great move. Unfortunately, I didn't catch on with it. However, the Virtuosi driver got to be chuffed with that one, but A-Dub still going to look around the outside here. Can he find it? Goes deep into the corner. El Majacco, then Dirty Boy Jackson, then Cake Thomas setting fastest laps, and as you can see, the track is starting to dry out. The rain has stopped falling, and this race has gotten more interesting. Halfway through, the rain has stopped here in Singapore. It will take, I would assume, about 2 to 3 laps for the track to get dried out, and it's very much looking, as the laps get faster, it's much more looking like the dry tires will be coming into play shortly. But it is a question about tire strategy. Do you go on too soon and try to perform the undercut? Do you wait a minute to wait for the conditions to be perfect? That is the big question then. I would assume DRS will be turned on within the next 3 laps considering the conditions presently. And now does A-Dub find the inside of Josh Diener? Is certainly looking for it then. The top 3 all within a second of each other here. Unfortunately, a little bit far apart for a move to be made now. Lancey, can he find a move on Bobbert Yates? Certainly looking for it. 0.3 of a second the gap. Does he have a peak down to the turn number 7 rather? No, he doesn't. Up the grid once more. A-Dub within 0.7 on Josh Senior. Dirty Boy Jackson within 0.8 on Majacco. Cake Thomas suddenly starting to fall back now where he was a second back about a lap ago. He's now 2 seconds back. Cake Thomas finding the transition to be a little bit difficult. I would certainly say we might even be seeing the dry tires this time by. That track looks certainly drivable on the slick tires. Only a couple corners, the water's still collecting. You can see the dry patches on the track. This is going to be the question here. What does El Majacco do? Currently the leader of the race. This pit stop decision for the rest of the field is going to be following his orders, or perhaps the opposite of them. Let's see, what does El Majacco do? Does he choose to stay out once more? It looks like he will. No, El Majacco coming in, Dirty Boy Jackson following. Cake Thomas, he comes in as well. Josh Senior still a little bit far back to make that decision. But El Majacco, Dirty Boy Jackson, and Cake Thomas all on their way in. Now, this is the interesting thing here. Super softs going on then for El Majacco. Dirty Boy Jackson coming to the stops now. Only softs for that of Dirty Boy Jackson. Oh, Mayhem Tomorrow's gone off. That could be a safety car. That's a very crucial part of the track, and the safety car is out. Now El Majacco and Dirty Boy Jackson and Cake Thomas will all be getting away with that one. They will be able to maintain that lead. But everybody else behind them, this is a free pit stop for them, and now everybody will be on level pegging. Coming to the safety car exit here. Now, El Majacco chose the super softs. So far, we've only seen drivers put on the softs otherwise. El Majacco, the only one on the super softs. That may have been a mistake. Dirty Boy Jackson on the softs, Cake on the softs, A-Dub on the super softs as well, and his teammate as he's boxed in behind him. Very interesting here. Bobbert Yates on his way in. Every driver putting on the slick compound tires now. Mayhem Tomorrow saying he DNF'd going about 20 miles an hour. Well, I've certainly had that one happen before. That part's for sure. Interesting this. El Majacco Super Softs, Dirty Boy Jackson and Cake Thomas on softs respectively. A-Dub on supers, Lancey on supers, Shariah on supers. The majority of the field, all but 4, have chosen to go on the soft compound tires. Is this going to be too long for the super softs to last? Or is it going to provide just enough pace to get the advantage over your opponents and have the softs not kick in to be the best tire in time? We'll have to wait and see, and I'll step aside for now. So the safety car will be coming in here. We'll have, I believe, 6 laps to go this time by 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Yep, 6 laps to go at the drop of the green flag. Now El Majacco on the super soft tires. Dirty Boy Jackson and Cake in his immediate vicinity, both on the soft compound. A-Dub in 4th on the super softs. Remember, only 4 drivers on the grid chose to fit the super soft tires. Every other one of them is on the softs. Will the super softs rise to the top, or will they fall off by the end of the Grand Prix? Or could they even potentially be on level pegging and we see a lead change here perhaps with absolutely no time on the clock left? Dirty Boy actually El Majacco does know how to do the safety car restarts and get away from him quite well. Last thing you want is to be at a safety car restart and have El Majacco in front of you, because he just knows how to work them. and there he goes. He's gotten, I believe, a pretty good start then on Dirty Boy Jackson, but Dirty Boy Jackson's not been fooled. Dirty Boy Jackson's going to look for it, down to the inside, heading towards turn 1. The battle for the lead going on here. Dirty Boy Jackson down to the inside. Majako's going to want it then. Contact potentially made. They're still going to be side by side. Going through turn number 3, still side by side now, and Dirty Boy Jackson for now has the lead of the Grand Prix. It's even Stevens between these two. Now going down, and Dirty Boy Jackson trying to give Majako room, picks up a time penalty in his efforts. Goodness gracious, Dirty Boy Jackson, I believe, has unfortunately come away so unlucky then, but he is still battling for this lead despite that time penalty behind Cake Thomas and A-Dub battling for that 3rd spot. El Majako, I believe he's at least got to be on 2 warnings now. These two are still side by side. If this wasn't a battle for time penalty win, this would be one of the battles of the season. And now Cake Thomas within 0.6 of a second on El Majako. A-Dub within 0.4 on him. Meanwhile, Joko up to 5th. Look at that. That would be such a result then from Joko. Granted, he does have that 3-second time penalty, and it looks like Lancey trying to find his way around him here. Perhaps this isn't his teammate, is it? I would say probably no to that. No, it's definitely not, although the colors are quite similar. The Trident looking to get around the Cheroos. A-Dub now, he's looking to get around Cake Thomas towards the back. Nicky getting around Beagle Hunter and VTech back there. CPI Optics made his way back up to 11th, despite having that time penalty. In fact, he's side by side then with Bobber Yates. Contact being made once, twice, perhaps even a 3rd time. And Bobber Yates is going to keep the spot. Mind you, all 3 of these drivers on time penalties, so that really is a race to see who gets done in less. Lancey was in a 10th there on Joko, tried to make that move happen, didn't quite find the room, or he almost had it, but just wasn't quite there. Meanwhile, and this is the important thing here, Cake Thomas has yet to find any sort of ground then on El Majako to challenge for what will perhaps be this win. Lancey's still within 0.2 then on Joko. He's going to look down to the inside. Does he have it? Still looking at his left rear tire. Contact made. Lancey was able to hold on to the car. And I believe in his debut as well, a 6th place finish or better would be great. Jiraiya Coleslaw now up from, well, I'd say dead last on the grid. He's looking for it here. Through turn 5 they go. DRS not yet activated, of course. We're going to have to wait for that to be next lap, but we will perhaps see some battling for the lead here from lap 14 onwards. That will leave us 4 laps of amazing race-winning, race-changing action. Lancey still within a few tenths there on A. Did he just hit that wall then? I think he may have. Jiraiya Coleslaw is, I'd say, in a really good spot for this, considering the drivers ahead of him all on at least 3 seconds of penalties. So he'll be jumping up to 5th then. Goes Jiraiya Coleslaw. What a result that would be for that high-tech team. Reminder, and this is the amazing statistic, every single round of this Formula 2 championship so far, there has been a lead change after every round between both constructors and drivers' point standings. I believe, perhaps, unless Dirty Boy Jackson, he'll have to fall off quite far for the drivers' championship lead to change. However, certainly got a chance here. He does have the fastest lap by quite some margin as well, about 0.5 of a second that. And now, importantly, he's got a second back to Jacko. Jacko is under quite some pressure here. At the moment in time, Dirty Boy Jackson will be dropping down to the 4th position, leaving El Majako to take the win, Cake Thomas 2nd, and A-Dub in 3rd. But we're still going to have 4 laps to go, plus DRS. Here comes Lancey looking around the right side then of Joko. Dirty Boy Jackson, fastest lap once again. Looking around that outside. Joko went really heavy over the curb then. Jiraiya Coleslaw now. Oh, we got a car off towards the back. It is erect back there. DRS enabled. Jiraiya Coleslaw up to 6th now. Can he find himself a 5th place finishing position? I'm assuming he's going to have quite the hard time closing that 5-second gap. He's got back to A-Dub there in 4th. However, DRS enabled there for El Majako. Cake Thomas, 0.8 of a second behind Jacko. A-Dub, this is the crucial one here. This will be for that 2nd spot, unless Majako or someone makes a heinous mistake and allows Dirty Boy Jackson to somehow keep this win despite that 3-second time penalty. Oh, A-Dub quite deep into that corner there. How he didn't hit that wall will surprise me. CPI Optic looking for it here on Valentine, down to the inside. Valentine, 6 seconds of penalties. Optic on 3. Joko on 6 seconds of penalties. A shame for him. He was, at that point in time at the beginning of the safety car, up to P5. And now he's going to be losing some extra positions with that time penalty. Here comes Optic, down to the inside then on Valentine. Does he have it? Is he going to look for it on the bridge? What a switchback maneuver, and he's going to do it a third time. He's going to find that inside, going down into turn 13. That right there may have the potential for overtake of the season. That was, honestly, that was so pretty then from CPI Optic. What a move from the MP driver, looking to restore this day that he's had. Cake Thomas now, 7/10 of a second. Back to Jacko, and unfortunately it seems the gap from Jacko up to Dirty Boy Jackson, that gap only expanding. Now this was the worry that I was expressing when we saw that Jacko took the super soft tire coming out of the pit stop under safety car. I kind of was thinking that perhaps the tires would wear off quite soon, and it certainly seems like that may be the case as Dirty Boy Jackson has set yet another fastest lap of the race. A-Dub now 5/10 of a second. Ooh, as Joko going off then, Joko's on his way into the pits. Interesting that. Side by side then goes CPI Optic and Mandigos heading towards turn 1. I believe the Optic did get the position there fair and square. Nicely done. But why has Joko gone into the pits? He's up to 14 seconds of penalty. That's not exactly good for him. Cake Thomas within, as Joko does retire from the session with 3 laps to go. It's a very close battle for the eventual lead of the Grand Prix. Jacko's gone quite wide then. Dirty Boy Jackson's got a 1.5 seconds between himself and keeping the win. It is Elma Jacko under pressure here from Cake Thomas behind and A-Dub behind him. Elma Jacko quite wide then on exit of turn 10. Battle for the lead here. The eventual lead, actually. Cake Thomas within 4/10. Will he have enough with DRS? Cake Thomas, with all due respect, has been relatively quiet so far today. I do not believe he has, he's actually lost a position since the start. Look at Lancy, 14 positions in the positive direction. That is stellar from him. And now A-Dub, 5/10 of a second back to Cake Thomas. Cake Thomas, that gap from himself to Jacko, staying relatively solid then. Oh, we got a car that's gone off there. It looks like B-Tech and Beagle Hunter. Something has happened with those two, and Beagle Hunter's picked up 5 seconds of time penalty, not what he needed. Robert Yates, he's within 3/10 now on Valentine. Can he find his way down to the inside? No, he's not going to look for it there. Although Valentine's gone quite deep into that corner, almost hitting the wall there. 3/10 of a second, A-Dub. Can he find the moves? That track, I forgot this track's actually got 3 DRS sections. Kind of forgot about that. 3/10 of a second between A-Dub and Cake Thomas. This will be for second place. CPI Optic, fastest lap, 1:51.4. Now, Cake Thomas needs something here to get past Elma Jacko. Jacko starting to honestly pull away with this lead here. Cake Thomas, DRS for him. Meanwhile, A-Dub, DRS behind to Cake Thomas. Mind you, this will be Elma Jacko's first win of the season, if he is to hold on. Unless perhaps Cake Thomas or A-Dub can take it from him. A-Dub's won last week. Cake Thomas has yet to win this season. Round the right side now, looks A-Dub on Cake Thomas, side by side for turn 10. Still side by side now, and it's still there going through turns 11 and 12. And now, but this is crucial here, that gap, that battle has lengthened the gap back to Elma Jacko to 1.8 seconds. That may, and I mean may, seal the deal for an Elma Jacko victory unless he makes a mistake, and it costs him. Dirty Boy Jackson, the gap for, between himself and a win, about... Oh, that quarter's not gone well then for A-Dub, unfortunately for him. CPI Optic within 2/10 then on Shariah. Shariah's had a great day so far after coming back from the quali ban up to P6. And he'll have P5 as well if he holds how he's doing. The gap from Dirty Boy Jackson to Majacko, nearly 2 seconds. If Dirty Boy Jackson can find an additional second on this final lap of the Grand Prix, that would be incredible. And that win would certainly be his. Ooh, I think that's Beagle Hunter who's gone off back there. Beautiful racing on display here tonight. CPI Optic, he's going to look down to the inside on Shariah here. Final lap of the Grand Prix. DRS open then from CPI Optic. He's going to look for it into turn 1, and by golly, he may have it. And yes, he will. Nicely done then from the MP driver. Thankfully for Shariah Coleslaw, he's not got to try too hard, as he will have still this position and the position ahead of that once penalties are applied. Meanwhile, Dirty Boy Jackson back to Jacko. 2 seconds here. Oh, and CPI Optic. That's another 3 seconds of time penalty for him. He's up to 6. Not what he needed whatsoever. Now look at this. Dirty Boy Jackson. 2.2 seconds the gap now from himself back to Jacko. Are we perhaps seeing the Super Softs fall off the cliff at the worst point of the Grand Prix it could have possibly been for Elma Jacko? It's 0.8 of a second between himself and a win. Does he have enough in the tank? Does Dirty Boy Jackson have enough pace to etch out that 3-second penalty that he has and take away the win? 0.7 of a second and counting now. Cake Thomas within 9 cents on Jacko. What would really help Dirty Boy Jackson here is if Cake Thomas and Jacko suddenly start battling. It's now half a second. Dirty Boy Jackson suddenly starting to pull this one out of the bag. 2.4 seconds between Dirty Boy Jackson and I believe the 3rd win of the season for him. 3rd win of the season, that will be correct. Very close here indeed. Elma Jacko's just got to hold this last sector cleanly here. He's got Cake Thomas in behind, and I think Dirty Boy Jackson perhaps has ran out of time to give himself the win here, unless... Oh, look at this. It's getting quite close then. 2.5 seconds. Majacko, oh, he's not had the best go through that corner. Dirty Boy Jackson will be rounding turns 22 and 23 now, but it will be Elma Jacko coming across the line to take his first win of the season here. He started on pole. He will finish in first position, and it looks like Cake Thomas did everything he could, but Dirty Boy Jackson will keep his 2nd spot. Cake Thomas in 3rd. A-Dub up to 4th. Shariah up to 5th. Lancey to 6th. CPI Optic to 7th. Mandigos will finish 8th. Bobbert Yates and Valentine switching position. Actually, Josh Sr. up to 9th. Nikki 64 up to 10th. What a Grand Prix it has been, and a very well-deserved win for Elma Jacko. So at the end of a very entertaining Singapore Grand Prix, it is Elma Jacko finishing in first position. Dirty Boy Jackson did all he could. He finished 2nd. Cake Thomas in 3rd. A-Dub 4th. Shariah Coleslaw 5th. Lancey picking up driver of the day up from P19 up to 6th on his debut as well. CPI Optic gets 7th. Does get the fastest lap as well. Mandigos 8th. Josh Sr. 9th. 10th is Nikki 64. 11th Bobbert Yates. 12th is Villeneuve. 13th Valentine. 14th is VTech. 15th Erec, 16th Beagle Hunter, 17th Joko, and Mayhem and Spaceman, all of them not being able to finish the Grand Prix. Well, as it turns out, next week it might just get even better as we head to Spain with an additional S. That's right, we head to the circuits Barcelona, Catalunya for round number 7 of the F2 Championship. It's been an absolutely enjoyable ride here tonight. Hotspot, it's been me on the call. Thank you very much for joining, and we will see you next week.